Hello dear tea friends from around the world and across the Americas. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stefan Erler, the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. In my boutique I've set up this tea class with 8 Baozhongs and 1 green tea. It's a sampler that I have selected, wonderful Wenshan Baozhongs that are there to illustrate the class of Wenshan Baozhong that I'm teaching this semester. Today we are nearing the end, since we are going to try and taste the last Baozhong on that list. It's a roast Baozhong from the spring of 2020, and so it's a very different style. So far all our Baozhongs were fresh, not roasted. This one is roasted, and this gives me the opportunity to delve into a different topic, the emergence of this style of tea. Where does it come from? Why did it emerge? What problems did it solve? And I hope it's going to be an interesting lesson. I might be repeating myself for people who have read my blog in great detail, but I still think these insights into the Chinese culture are quite interesting and relevant for this tea. So, without further ado, let's preheat our gaiwan so that we'll be ready to brew our tea soon, and also start our class. The water is a bit warm. Let's also get our tea leaves out. So this is interesting tea because it is like for most of the Wenshan Baozongs that we had in this class and in this sampler, almost each time it's from a different cultivar. I think it's just Tsuyu Jade Oolong that we had twice, but otherwise each time we have a different cultivar. This is what makes one of the things that make Wenshan Baozong so interesting. This variety of cultivars that provide a lot of variety in taste and in flavors and in quality, because of course each type of cultivar is more or less difficult to plant, to harvest, and has different yields. This has an impact on the quality and the price. So we had a broad range of qualities, and this is an interesting one. Similar price as the recent ones we had, the Baozhong Excellence and the Zhou but it's not a Zhou, so it also comes from Ui, but the farmers are not so sure what type of Ui cultivar it is, so it's simply called Ui cultivar. Of course, when cultivar travels, it will also sometimes evolve, adapt to the new terroir where it's planted. That's why it's not so easy to say exactly what it is. Maybe they should do some DNA testing. Then again, small fields, small operations, family-sized farms, so they don't have so much financial clout to do this kind of research. But a tea that looks and smells very much like Ui tea, our Black Dragon Oolong, that's why it's called Oolong. And so one of the questions is, for hundreds of years, the only type of tea that existed in China was green tea. How come one day they invented Oolong tea in the Ui Mountains? Now, to answer this question, I think we have to take a step back and look at China from a very large, long perspective. The cradle of China is in the north, the northern provinces with more fertile plains where wheat is the main source of calories and for food. So they eat more noodles in the north. In the south, it will be rice. And so in the north, because we have large plains, not too much rain, this kind of weather and geography is very suitable for wheat culture, and it's also very suitable for large farms. The process of cultivating wheat is quite easy, straightforward. You have a field, you plug, you put your grains, put the earth back on, water enough, you wait, and then you need manpower, but the job is quite easy to be done. However, China also has a southern part. This part is much more humid and also more mountainous, or has closer to the sea. There are dams, so the water on the delta of these great rivers is difficult, is moving. It's difficult to harness. So the land is very hostile. It is worth much less, especially in the mountains, because it does not yield very much food. And so it's for a long time it's been the refuge for people who sought to go away, far away from the government, because there was almost no taxes in the mountains, and so that's why you have lots of temples in the mountains. That's also one way to escape taxes. In this difficult environment, it is actually more suitable for rice culture. And rice culture, it requires much more ingenuity. You have to think how you can make a terrace on the slope of these mountains, of these hills. Constantly there are floodings. You have to rebuild it. It takes a lot of hard work. You never have large fields. You plant here and there. You always have to fight against nature. So you must be very motivated. Basically, you must receive the fruit of your labor, so that you would really be willing to work so hard. It does not work if you are simply an employee or a slave, like in the north. So in the south, the mentality, because the agriculture has been so different from the north, is quite different. In the north, people think in very large projects, and you can still see this nowadays when you hear about mega projects decided in Beijing, in the north, building large dams, huge dams, building a huge wall. That was a long time ago, the Great Wall of China, building the huge factories. But in the south, people have a smaller project kind of mindset, and are much more toward problem solving. And they try to be nimble. That's why you'll find a lot of smaller companies in Shenzhen, in the south, than you will find in the north of China. And these smaller companies try always to find niches to solve problems for their customers. This is what makes them where they're good at. Now, I believe that in Wuyi we have the similar mindset. The farmers in Wuyi are located in a beautiful landscape. However, it is not so easy. Lots of mountains, valleys. It's actually not a great place if you want to plant wheat. Nobody plants wheat over there. Now, of course, it's protected by the UN or UNESCO. But what can you do? You green tea has been the rule for a long time. What is it that that this oolong improves on green tea? What problems does it solve? Now, I think basically that it solves several problems. Green tea can be made almost everywhere in China. So there are lots of tea regions producing green tea in China, and the result is that what makes good green tea comes down to the freshness of the harvest and the location and, of course, the cultivar. However, all in all, green tea is quite mono-dimensional. It's all about freshness and a taste of nature. But it lacks in depth, it lacks in variety of aromas. Oolong tea, Yancha, the first oolong tea, semi-oxidized oolongs, they solve the problem of variety of aromas. When you oxidize a little bit more, medium or high, you are getting lots of different aromas. And then if you roast these leaves that you have oxidized a little bit medium or more, if you roast them a little bit more medium, strong, very strong, or charcoal, again you get another set of aromas. So from something that is very mono-dimensional in terms of aromas, green tea, we get 10 times different aromas on the oxidation side and another 10 times more different aromas with the roasting. So we get 100 times more variety with oolong than with green tea. So the first problem that this tea solves is the variety of aroma and also the length in the aftertaste. These teas have much more aftertaste than green teas. Another problem that roasted oolong, Baozhong, Yancha solves is the aging. How can we keep the leaves fresh? With green tea, it was quite simple. When you receive them, they are at their best, and from there it goes down until you get the newer. Until 12 months later, it's a new harvest that arrives, and then again, hopefully you finished your green tea from last year, and you can enjoy very high freshness with the latest harvest. With roasted Baozhong, Yancha, we are transcending time. We can forget about time almost. It's the quality does not fluctuate and go down with time. Actually, it might even improve if it's well kept. Actually, roasted Baozhong, when it just comes out, it still has a bit fire in the taste, but this mellows and becomes smoother over time. And actually, when it's really kept for a longer period of time, new aromas actually even emerge and make this tea even more interesting. So the problem of time is solved, and actually it becomes not a problem, but you want the tea to age. You are wondering how good it can become as time goes by. Another problem that it solves was transportation. In these times, in the Qing dynasty, transportation in China was difficult, was expensive. Starting in Hui, a mountainous region, to go to other provinces, especially Chaozhou in Guangdong, was taking time. So you and cost a lot of money. So you wanted your tea to be very, very valuable and concentrate of a lot of value. Of course, what makes sense to move from one place to another is what has the highest value, because the moving, the transportation is a real cost. So if you can move leaves that contain lots of aromas, and that will give you 10 brews instead of just 3, and where the price can be very, very high, it's much better, it makes more economic sense than to transport leaves that are not that valuable, that you can only brew 2 or 3 times, and that maybe can be grown nearby by other farmers at a cost that makes it competitive, because they don't have these logistic costs. And indeed, in the Qing dynasty, Hui tea managed to reach the price of 1 gram of tea equals 1 gram of gold. So already in these times, tea, the value of Hui tea was really recognized as being very, very high, even to the same level as gold for the best Hui teas. So this comes, of course, with a lot of work, a lot of know-how, a lot of technique for the makers, but this is the spirit of the south of China, this ingenuity. We don't have lots of land, but we have know-how, and we solve problems. We find we are able to create value thanks to our intelligence. For the Wenshan Baozhong, why is there Wenshan Baozhong or Baozhong in the Wenshan area? Here again, it solves a problem. As I mentioned before, this region is the reservoir of water for the north of Taiwan. So it's very important to get to keep this water flowing very clean. That's why there are no factories in this area. There are no heavy industries. And what kind of agriculture could they put there that does not use lots of fertilizers and chemicals? Actually, tea is the most suitable, because it has a very, very light footprint in terms of fertilizer and in terms of chemicals. So it's really a very good match to be able to have an economic activity in that region without endangering the quality of the water. So I hope that my explanations were clear. The spirit of Hui Yansha was to solve problems, was to get more value into the leaves, also solving the problem of before with green tea you are limited in terms of quality by the harvest date. Before Qingming you will have great tea. After that you can forget about your making good green tea. No matter how good you are, the character of the leaves has changed after Qingming. They get too much sunshine, you're not able to make a good green tea. However, with mature leaves and the oolong process, you are able to make very good oolong, Baozhong, or Yancha with mature leaves. This is what makes it interesting to process these leaves into Baozhong, Yancha, oolong, semi-oxidized tea, because then you free yourself also from the earliest pickings. You are able now to make good tea with more mature leaves. Now, today I'm simply using the Gaiwan like to prepare this tea, like we prepared all the other Baozhongs in the previous classes, in order to show you that the Gaiwan is also really also a problem solver. If you don't know what vessel to purchase, especially if you are starting in tea, the Gaiwan will be your best friend, because you're able to brew all the teas in this one vessel. Don't have to think about becoming an expert in etching clay, what is the most suitable shape, who are the masters, how are these clays fired, etc. You can forget, skip this part, simply brew all your teas with a Gaiwan. In the first step of your studies, this will simplify a lot of things, solve lots of problems, because if you are brewing a good tea with a bad teapot, you might not be able to get the best out of your leaves. So it requires that you pair the leaves very well with your teapot. But if you are brewing it with a Gaiwan, you don't have this problem of finding the right teapot. Okay. However, that being said, there are other methods of brewing roasted Baozhong, and we are going to see them next week. And they will also be solving some problems, helping us get to new aromas. Here we see we have a very beautiful golden brew, very shiny, very transparent, beautiful color. The leaves have opened nicely. They are quite flexible. They will continue to open and turn a bit more green with time in the second and third brews. And very soothing, very sweet, very mellow, slight zestiness, a good coating of the mouth. It's dancing on the taste buds, provides a long aftertaste. It's lots of sweetness, some darker notes, fire, a lot of sweetness, wood, dark wood. Are we in a temple now? Very, very refined, very harmonious after 5 years These leaves have not lost any of their energy. They feel still completely young. They did not lose. Actually, they probably gained in smoothness, in harmony. So the roast really does have a great effect. Of course, the freshness aromas are completely different from fresh Baozhong. So far, all the other Baozhongs are fresh. This one is very different. Here it's really the roasting that dominates over the oxidation. But after 15 years, the roast, even the roast aromas are going to go away, fade away, and new aromas will take their place. For me, really a brilliant tea. I like it very, very much, especially in this cooler season. I hope that you also enjoy it. Let me have a look if you have any questions. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this tea. Hello, Elizabeth. You are brewing this tea alongside me. Thank you very much. And Terry is also there. Would this be a good tea to brew in a clay pot? Asks Terry. Yes, this would be a good tea, but what clay pot is also a matter of maybe debate or study. We are going to delve into this subject much more next week. Terry writes, is this a medium roast? Yes, I think it qualifies medium strong. It's already on the strong side already, but not too strong, so medium to strong. Yeah. Elizabeth writes, a warming tea for our day of snow and ice, sweet and comforting. Thank you very much. I didn't know it was already so cold in Canada. Snow and ice, we are far away from snow and ice. Actually, we are still close to 30 degrees Celsius today in Taipei. But the coming days, temperatures are going to drop and will become more cold and more suitable for this tea. So here, in terms of concentration, we drink it with a similar concentration to the other Baozhongs we had. With a similar amount of leaves. We are going to see next week how we can change this concentration and play around a bit with these leaves. I hope that you have enjoyed this class today. Again, thumbs up if you do, to help the class. If you have enjoyed the Baozhongs, you can start to order the gifts for your friends and family. Christmas is coming fast and the post delivers not so fast these days. It's possible again to deliver to the US, but it requires a bit more back and forth process with me. Send me an email if you're interested. Only small packages are possible, but they actually work. Today again, a tea friend in the US has received his parcel, so definitely I've making so far nothing has come back, so small parcels are definitely arriving. And so the nice thing about these teas is that they are high quality, as I mentioned, and you don't need to buy kilograms of them. Several packs of samplers or 150 grams are just enough to last for a long time and make beautiful gifts of happiness, good flavors, and good health for your friends. Thank you very much. Enjoy your tea, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your life. Bye bye.